So my friend Poppy's round and we're going to do some brow lamination. So I'm going to cleanse mine and her hands, make sure they're all nice and clean. Make sure we've got no germs on there, no coronavirus. Now I'm going to cleanse over the brow hairs. Cleanse all over the brow, make sure we're free from any makeup, any oil. So I'm going to open the Relax Cream and I'm going to work this all the way through the brow hairs. So really trying to grab them from root all the way to the tip of the brow hairs. Cake this product on. You've got to really work fast with the product though. You can't over process the brow, so you can't leave it on for too long. So you've got to try as hard as you can to get it on quick but precise. Stretching out those hairs. And then again on the other brow, really working that product through. So I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes and I'm going to apply my film. You look crazy with this on, but it does help the process. It holds the heat in. Basically, this breaks down the bonds in the hair and then it makes it easy to move them into their new position. Time's up. We're taking off the film, peeling that back slowly. So this has been on for 5 minutes. So I've took all that off with a cotton bud and a wet cotton pad. So now I'm applying the Reform Cream. So this has to go all over the brow hairs in the exact same way as what I just did the last one. So caking it through the brows, making sure they're fully full of the product. Working that all the way through from root to tip again. Sometimes you can feel a slight warmth as well because it's like a chemical on your skin, so it does sometimes feel warm. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. So I'm brushing them into shape. So this is really important. So the shape I now brush them in, it's going to be this shape that they're going to tend to set in. And then obviously popping the film back over to hold in the heat again. I'm setting the timer now for 7 minutes. So time's up, that one's coming back off. And then with a little applicator, I'm taking all that off, making sure I've not left any product on the skin. You can see already how amazing the brows are going to look. So they're look so natural, so textured. So yeah, you can already get a feel for what they're going to look, and this is before the tint's even gone on. And then with a damp cotton wool, make sure it's squeaky clean. And this feels really nice and soothing actually. This is a really nice bit. So now I'm going to mix my tint. So Poppy wanted like an ashy, natural to dark brown. So I've mixed light brown, dark brown and grey. Mix that together. I'm going to apply the tint now. Make sure you put it all over the brow hairs as well, even those little blonde vellus hairs, because that'll pick all those little hairs up. Create so much more brow as well. You'll have so much more brow to work with. Okay, so I'm going to measure them up now, make sure they start where they should start, make sure they finish where they should finish. I'm just going to stencil that in really lightly. I've got a bit of a guide to follow. So Poppy's left brow was slightly higher as well, so I'm just trying to make them as even as possible. So I'm bringing up that right brow a little bit and trying to lower that left brow a little bit as well. So I've got to now brush the brow hairs down as I need to wax, and obviously I don't want to trap any of those hairs in with the wax, so I'm brushing them back down towards the brow area. I don't want them fluffy at this time. So when you do this process, because you're basically putting a chemical on the skin, your skin's a lot more sensitive. So I'm now using a barrier. This barrier is going to go all around the brow area, and then I'm going to double barrier it by putting a little bit of powder just around the brow area. This will help the wax stick to the skin as well, so it's not too oily. It also looks like a 5-year-old's done your makeup. So testing out the wax temperature on my arm and then on Poppy's arm. Perfect. Let's get started. So now I'm going to wax all around the brow area, following my lines, following the stencils that I've put on. Really satisfying. And as you can see, now taking the wax strips off. And this is also very satisfying. And actually, it doesn't hurt as much as you think it does. So on the other brow, fresh wax and taking that off. I do it in little sections because you've got more control of the wax as well. So always do it in smaller sections. So waxing above the brow. And as I said earlier, I'm trying to lower this brow just a little bit because this brow is a lot more higher than the other side. So after I've finished waxing, I'm going to take all the wax residue off with a bit of comfort, making sure it doesn't feel sticky. Once I've took that off, just use a damp little cotton pad as well, just to take off all the oil residue. So threading time. I'm going to measure my thread and then get Poppy to stretch the top of her eyebrow, the bottom of her eyebrow, and then I can just take away all those little fuzzy hairs. Can't always get them with the wax, and also you're not supposed to go down onto the eyelid with wax. And then I'm just going to tweeze the last couple that haven't all come out. And then my favourite bit is the scissoring. So I'm going to trim... I didn't actually mean that. Okay, so I'm going to trim these as... So I'm going to trim these brow hairs. This is so satisfying, by the way. So yeah, just making sure I pull them up into place and then just trim any little ends that need to come off. And then that's just making sure they all fit and sit in the exact position that I want them to sit in. So brushing them through, making sure I've not missed any long ones. Okay, so powder. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of powder over the area just to reduce the redness as well. This contains aloe vera, so it's like really soothing on the skin. So after you've had your eyebrows done, you're not supposed to obviously cake them in makeup, but this is just a really light bit of makeup just to help enhance the treatment. So a bit of highlighter. So I only use the tiniest bit of makeup when I finish. Like, people think I use like loads of makeup after. All I use is 3 things. I use a brow highlighter, a pro pencil, and a brow beater usually. Or when I do brow sculpt, I use a tint lock serum instead of the brow beater. So yeah, so just highlighting that brow bone, and then I gently go under it with a little brush just to soften that line out so it doesn't look too harsh. taking away any other little hairs that I've missed. It's really good actually, the highlighter, because once you've highlighted under the brow bone, sometimes you can see some hairs that you need to get that's not quite in line where you want them. So yeah, so doing the other side as well, highlight under that brow bone, softly fade that out as well. Don't make any harsh lines. You want to make sure it's really nice, soft and natural. Nothing worse than a really highlighted brow bone, so it's like all you can see is like a pure white line under there. Even though that looks quite light, it won't do in the end once you've faded it a bit more out. But yeah, just tweezing away all those little strays that still, for some reason, after waxing, threading, tweezing, there's still some there. And then my Pro Pencil, this is my favourite product of all time. So even though it's black, you can use it on even blonde hair, and it just mimics hair strokes. So you use this so softly, like you cannot put a lot of pressure on this at all. So really gently, really softly, put those few little hairs in the brow hairs. You want it to look as natural as possible. You don't want it to look like it's caked in makeup, or you don't want it to look like it's full of makeup. So yeah, just brushing that through, making sure it's really soft, really natural. So yeah, so I finished with the Tint Lock Serum, and this is instead of a brow beater. So it just conditions the hairs, makes them sit and fall into the place you would like. It's amazing. And you should also use this after your brow treatment as well to keep the tint in there so the tint doesn't fade. And there we go. We've got the most amazingest supermodel catwalk eyebrows. Textured, fluffy, really on trend, unreal eyebrows. Thanks for watching my first beauty tutorial. If you like it, please like and subscribe, and let me know if you want me to do any more beauty tutorials. Thanks.